Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Believe in best.
Coming up tonight, special delivery. The country receives more COVID-19 vaccines. What caused a blaze at BPL's Clifton Pier power station? Plus, Shaunae Miller-Weibo explains her shocking finish in the 200-meter final. Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, following weeks of delays, the government received more than 33,000 doses of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine this morning, ending a critical shortage of vaccines in the country. Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis says the government is preparing to launch the biggest vaccination campaign to date. Jasmine Brown reports.
The long-awaited delivery of COVID-19 vaccines arriving in country around mid-morning.
We will launch one of the largest and greatest vaccination programs within our community ever seen to vaccinate as many people as possible. And I've had discussion with my cabinet and gotten agreement from my cabinet colleagues that I, as a medical doctor, will volunteer my services with the other medical colleagues to assist in the vaccination of the Bahamian populace throughout our country.
Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis announced that vaccinations will resume on Thursday on New Providence at Loyola Hall for first and second doses and at 3 additional sites next week.
On Monday, the 9th of August, the Church of God of Prophecy on East Street site will likewise be opened. And this will be followed by the Bahama Convention Center on Tuesday, the 10th of August, followed by the St. Anselm Church Hall on Wednesday, the 11th of August. By next week, Wednesday, all of these sites, for a total of 4 vaccination centers, will be operating on New Providence to administer first and second doses of the vaccine.
Today's delivery represents the third tranche of prepaid doses the country has received through the COVAX facility. Minnis said the government will send 5,000 doses to Antigua and Barbuda, which gave the Bahamas 5,000 doses in June in an exchange program. In the last several weeks, frustration grew as the Bahamas vaccine supply dried up. Minnis encouraged Bahamians to book their appointments immediately. As it relates to vaccinations on the Family Islands, which have come to a standstill,
health officials and volunteers are currently working on a schedule to continue vaccinations on the Family Islands. And more information will be announced on this phase of the rollout.
Now that those vaccines are in country, the Prime Minister, like always, continued to push for residents to get vaccinated, as he says it's part of the cure for the COVID-19 pandemic. Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
In other news, House Speaker Halson Moultrie announcing plans to convene the first ever open Parliament sessions beginning next Wednesday. He's hoping the proceedings will deepen democracy. Berthany McDermott reports.
As Speaker, I am compelled to announce the establishment of an open Parliament each Wednesday in Parliament Square.
According to the House Speaker, these open Parliament sessions will afford residents the opportunity to express their concerns to him, which he will then make public. As an independent speaker, Moultrie says he can launch initiatives that he feels is in the best interest of democracy. He said the unilateral decision by the executive to adjourn Parliament for 90 days cannot be accepted.
This is an unprecedented period since I became Speaker. 90 days in the midst of a pandemic. And with the possibility of a snap election being called within the period. But the Parliament is in recess during this period. I think that is most undemocratic and most unfortunate.
So here's how it's going to work. Moultrie says the proceedings will take place in either the Senate building, the main Parliament Square, or the House of Assembly. He says residents will have the opportunity to meet with himself or the parliamentary clerk to express their concerns. He's hoping the process will deepen democracy and act as an educational platform.
What I'm hoping to do is to cause Bahamians not to feel that the Parliament and the executive is out of their reach.
Moultrie explained that the concept of an open parliament isn't included in parliamentary rules and was taken from the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. He said he only consulted the deputy speaker on the decision, adding that the police commissioner hasn't been notified either.
All I need to do is notify the commissioner of police and ask for police presence for those events. I don't need to do it until I have to. In other words, I don't have to seek the permission of the Commissioner of Police prior to me making a decision.
The sessions will be held from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and will follow COVID-19 protocols, according to Moultrie. He said other parliamentarians are allowed to attend if they choose to. And to the critics,
that it would be better for me to be in Nassau Village campaigning than to be here, meeting places from other constituencies in an open parliament.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
And a shocking finish in the women's 200 meters leaves Bahamian fans stunned. Marcellus Hall has more from Tokyo 2020.
Welcome to our sports, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. Sports brought to you here in Tokyo, courtesy of our friends over at J.S. Johnson. One of the hardest lessons we learn in life is that we don't always get what we want and things don't always go as planned. For instance, most Bahamians got up this morning wanting Shawnee Miller to win a medal in the women's 200 meters and planning to celebrate at the end of the race. Turns out, things don't always go as planned, and we didn't get what we want. A day of highs and lows here in Tokyo, Japan, as day 11 of the games getting underway. First, the high as Shawnee Miller taking the track in the heats of the 400 meters. Shawnee running in heat 1 out of lane 2. Comfortable run for the gold medal favorite as she glided to the finish line in 50.50 seconds, maintaining a position as a contender for a medal spot in that particular event. A few hours later, Miller back on the track for the finals in the women's 200. This one not quite living up to the expectation of the Bahamian public as Miller out of the running almost from the get-go, shutting it down for the final 100 meters. She finishes 8th in 24 seconds, afterwards Shawnee explaining what went wrong.
We've been going through a lot leading up to the games, a lot of injuries. Even up to this morning, we was in a lot of pain, but coming out this evening, everything actually felt pretty great. Coming off the curve, I felt my hamstring kind of grabbed at me, and so I decided to shut it off, but hopefully we're good. I'm going to go back and get some treatment and see, and yeah, we'll go from there and hopefully be ready for tomorrow. Now, Miller adding, however, that she is hopeful to be healthy moving forward. No, I actually felt pretty great. We had this planned out from 2019 when we actually made the decision that we were going to do both. We just didn't want to say anything to the public. But we've been training really hard for it. Like I said, the injury just got the best of me this year. And we weren't able to train as well for the 200, but we got a lot of 400 training early on. And so, yeah, once I'm healthy, we'll be ready to go for the 400. So the good news is Shawnee's quest for a medal does not end. She does still have the 400 meters. In fact, the second round of the semifinals will be tomorrow in that very same event. Shawnee running in the second of those heats. Looking to go well. That'll be about 6:30 your time tomorrow morning. You'll have to get up early and see exactly how she bounces back from this disappointment in the women's 200 meters. Reporting from Tokyo, I'm Marcellus Hall. Back to you.
It took 2 fire trucks and assistance from nearby companies to extinguish a fire at BPL's Clifton Pier power station this morning. The blaze did not impact power generation or operations as the station was being decommissioned. Our Jillian Gray tells us more.
Thick black smoke billowed from the western end of BPL's Clifton Pier power station Tuesday morning, prompting workers at Sol Petroleum Bahamas Company to spring into action.
We began assisting to try to extinguish the fire, and if not extinguish it, to at least contain it.
Teams from BPL and Sunoil joined in, and not long after, 2 fire trucks showed up and started to extinguish the flames with foam and water from the other side, according to Superintendent of Police Kenrick Morris.
Upon our arrival, we met old fuel tanks that were no longer in service, engulfed with flames. Flames was quickly extinguished, resulting in no property damage. With regards to the cause of the fire, we believe that persons were welding nearby. They were welding nearby. As a result, bushes were caught, which led to the tank. where the Bongo C fuel was stored.
According to a statement from the power company, those tanks were not filled with diesel, but it's the residue at the base of the tanks that caught on fire when contractors hired to decommission the site began welding. The fire, which was in an isolated area, had no impact on generation or operations, according to BPL. It took about 2 hours to extinguish the blaze, and while the area continued to smolder, the tanks did not sustain any damage. The fire at the decommissioned Station O site was steps away from Sol Petroleum, which was cause for alarm. General Manager Valentino Hanna says the area is filled with flammable substances.
There is a lot of fuel out here at Clifton Terminal between all of the facilities that are out here. So fire is a very, very serious risk to all of our operations and all of our personnel. So that's why our crews are trained properly to immediately respond.
Now, officers said thankfully no one was injured during the blaze. Reporting for our news, I'm Jillian Gray.
Well, multiple members of the Church of God have died or been hospitalized with COVID-19 since a youth convention held early last month, according to relatives and congregants who spoke to our news. Jared Higgs has the story.
I don't want another person to be sitting here talking about how they lost their mom and their uncles all in the same, basically, week to this COVID.
Ricardo Nairn is looking for answers after his mother, aunt, and uncle all died from COVID-19 weeks after attending a youth convention.
I'm just wondering why the Church of God itself has not put more effort into finding out exactly what happened.
Nairn says his mother, 79-year-old Agnes Nairn, and uncle, 77-year-old Leonard Nairn Jr., attended the convention, which was held at the William Johnson Auditorium on Joe Farrington Road from June 30th to July 4th. They died 45 minutes apart last Thursday. The 49-year-old says he was told by a Ministry of Health official that his mother caught COVID during the convention while his uncle served as an usher.
She was beautiful. She was, she always believed in service. My mom became a Christian at the age of 16. When at time of that, she was 79, so 60 plus years in service and in the church.
Nairn's aunt, 66-year-old Verna May Solomon, caught COVID from her daughter, who attended the convention, and she died on July 22nd. Other family members, including a 30-year-old niece, have also been hospitalized. In total, 9 family members tested positive as a result of the initial infections.
My sister, my younger sister, she's home now. But she came out on Wednesday, the day before my mom died, Wednesday night. But she was in real bad shape. She had infection in her lungs.
Photos from the convention show scores of congregants packed inside the church auditorium. While many wore masks that covered their noses and mouths, others wore ill-fitting masks with their noses exposed or had their masks under their chin. Nairn says no church officials have reached out to his family. In a statement released this evening, Church of God Overseer Bishop Moses Johnson expressed sadness at the deaths in the Nairn family, as well as the death of Lincoln Newbold, another church member. The statement adds, "We wish to assure all members, followers, and the general public that we are adhering to all guidelines recommended by the Bahamas Christian Council and approved by the Ministry of Health and will continue in this vein."
My uncle, who is also ill at the moment and still fighting, he's one of the armor bearers. And speaking with him yesterday, he hasn't even gotten any calls.
Nairn says neither his mother, uncle, nor aunt were vaccinated. He's also not vaccinated and remains unsure about taking the shot, despite health officials reporting that there are no fully vaccinated individuals who have died or are hospitalized. Nairn says while he makes up his mind, he wants people to do a better job following the health measures. Reporting for our news, I'm Jared Higgs.
Thanks, Jared. Slightly overcast skies in the capital today. Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center with the latest.
Thanks, Christina. Welcome, everybody, for your Tuesday's first look at weather. Outside our studios, humid conditions. Temperatures are in the low 80s. 82 outside our studios right now with partly cloudy skies. We have a bit of a breeze, southeasterly at 8 knots, and your feels-like temperature all in the mid-80s. Satellite view, large cluster of showers and thunderstorms across the northwest Bahamas. That will continue to drift slowly towards the south. We could see some of that moving into the capital later on this evening. The remainder of the Bahamas, kind of quiet and clear for the rest of the evening. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, COVID claims the life of a young woman, plus the shark video that sparked outrage. Stay tuned.
The great True True Bahamian Treasure Hunt is here, where you can win great vacation prize packages to hotels throughout the Bahamas. Watch Our TV on weeknights between 6 and 11 p.m. for your 10 True True Bahamian clues. Take note of your answers and clues. You never know, you might see the same clue twice. Follow Our TV Originals on Facebook to submit your correct answers before 11 a.m. every Saturday. Watch Our News Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. to see if you are the weekly winner. If you didn't win, watch for clues next week because the contest runs all summer long. Go to Our TV Originals Facebook page for more information and contest details.
As COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations continue to rise, health officials confirming that a 36-year-old woman on New Providence died on August 1st. 104 people are currently in hospital battling the virus. 14 of them are in intensive care. 35 new cases were confirmed yesterday. More than 2,000 cases were confirmed last month. Well, travelers sharing mixed reviews on new travel requirements for fully vaccinated individuals and children. Jillian Gray has that.
I don't understand the medicine behind it, but it seems like they really don't have it all together yet, not even in the States.
On Monday, the Office of the Prime Minister advised that as of Friday, vaccinated travelers would need to take a rapid antigen or PCR test 5 days before traveling to and within the Bahamas. It comes more than a week after the health minister defended the decision not to require tests for fully vaccinated travelers entering the country. For this Abaco resident, it's both difficult and expensive to get tested on a family island.
We had to get a PCR test to go from here to Abaco. But fortunately, we didn't have to get a PCR to come back. 2 trips ago, we had to go up to Marsh Harbor to get a PCR test, which cost me about $400. That's ridiculous.
Perhaps the most startling announcement was that children ages 2 to 11 will also be required to present a negative test before travel.
That's not a problem as long as they don't force the vaccine on me, because I'm not taking it.
Well, my personal point is that children, it hasn't really affected children, so for my personal, I don't think children should have to get it, but that's okay. Yeah. It's your country.
Meanwhile, this New Yorker says the announcement requirement isn't a deal breaker for her.
I actually tested my son, who is 11, so technically he's exempt, but I wanted to be completely safe and very comfortable that we weren't bringing anything.
Now again, those new testing travel requirements will come into effect this Friday for both international and domestic travelers. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
In other news, a video of a dead hammerhead shark lying belly up on a boat causing outrage on social media. Bahamas Reef Environment Educational Foundation Executive Director Kajarina McKinney-Lambert says she was disappointed to see the video.
It was certainly disturbing to see that video because the Bahamas is a shark sanctuary and sharks are fully protected in Bahamian waters.
The video was shot by a Bahamian in what appears to be West End, Grand Bahama, although the date is unknown.
Oh, see that? The big ass the boat.
The caption says, "My life or his life." In the comments, some viewers caution the poster to put the shark back before getting locked up. Another writes, "Why?" According to Fisheries Resources Jurisdiction and Conservation Amendment Regulations of 2011, no person shall possess, fish for, or land any shark or shark parts within the Bahamas.
I know that some people have a gut reaction towards sharks and are fearful towards sharks. And I think one of the things that we want to get across is that actually we should be scared if there aren't sharks in our waters, because sharks are absolutely essential to the well-being of our oceans, of the species that live in them, and ultimately to the humans who depend on our oceans for fishing and tourism.
So what should people do if they see a shark while swimming or fishing?
If people see one and they're worried about it, we certainly recommend that they get out of the water and wait till the shark passes by.
But then again, there are a lot of people who enjoy swimming with sharks, and the Bahamas is well known for it.
It brings in over $117 million a year in people who would like to go and dive with sharks, who would like to do filming with sharks.
Still to come, will the state of emergency be extended this month? The PM's response after this.
The great True True Bahamian Treasure Hunt is here, where you can win great vacation prize packages to hotels throughout the Bahamas. Watch Our TV on weeknights between 6 and 11 p.m. for your 10 True True Bahamian clues. Take note of your answers and clues. You never know, you might see the same clue twice. Follow Our TV Originals on Facebook to submit your correct answers before 11 a.m. every Saturday. Watch Our News Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. to see if you are the weekly winner. If you didn't win, watch for clues next week because the contest runs all summer long. Go to Our TV Originals Facebook page for more information and contest details.
This is our news. Welcome back. With just 10 days remaining before the current state of emergency is slated to end, it remains unclear if it will be extended. Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis telling reporters today the matter is still under discussion.
With respect to the emergency orders, that matter is under discussion, and you will be further advised.
The current state of emergency ends on August 13th. The Bahamas has been under a state of emergency since March 2020. Dr. Minnis says the government will do what it has to in order to curb the spread of COVID-19.
The government will do all possible to ensure the safety of the Bahamian populace and to be recognized that those who are hospitalized, those who are dying, those who are becoming sick are the non-vaccinated. And therefore, if we are to improve in our hospitalization, decrease the death rate, and decrease the sickness, it is essential for us to move even more aggressively in vaccinating.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by RF, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute. To explore the best performing mutual funds in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
Up next, inside Grand Bahama's newest hotspot. Stay tuned.
The great True True Bahamian Treasure Hunt is here, where you can win great vacation prize packages to hotels throughout the Bahamas. Watch Our TV on weeknights between 6 and 11 p.m. for your 10 True True Bahamian clues. Take note of your answers and clues. You never know, you might see the same clue twice. Follow Our TV Originals on Facebook to submit your correct answers before 11 a.m. every Saturday. Watch Our News Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. to see if you are the weekly winner. If you didn't win, watch for clues next week because the contest runs all summer long. Go to Our TV Originals Facebook page for more information and contest details.
Welcome back to our news. A hot week ahead and activity in the East Atlantic. Greg is back in the Weather Center with the details.
Thanks again, Christine, and welcome back, everybody, for your second look at weather. We have a bit of activity out there across the northwest Bahamas, courtesy of an upper-level trough dipping across the United States of America, and we have an upper-level low spinning just to the east of the southeast Bahamas. That's triggering showers and thunderstorms across the northwest Bahamas, prompting the Department of Meteorology to issue some severe thunderstorm warnings for the northwest Bahamas. We will continue to see that pattern throughout the rest of the night. The tropics, we have a couple of tropical waves moving out there, but the National Hurricane Center is now watching an area just near the Cabo Verde Islands, giving it about a 10% chance for some formation over the next couple of days, but it's expected to move into some cooler waters by Thursday. Boating forecast for the northwest Bahamas tonight through tomorrow. Your winds will be out of the southeast to south at 10 to 15 knots. Seas 2 to 4 feet over the ocean, while in the central and southeast Bahamas, a caution flag posted for you down there. East to southeast winds 15 knots. They will be gusting at times. Seas running 3 to 5 feet. Here's a look now at your national forecast. A look now at your extended forecast through Sunday. That's a look at our weather. Back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Greg. As many businesses begin to recover from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, one entrepreneur on Grand Bahama dared to expand his business. Giorgio Bain has that.
The atmosphere was vibrant at Maxie's Bahamian Beach Club and Grill as owners Maxwell and Erica Curry opened their restaurant's fourth location at the former Manta Ray Village in Freeport. The tourist attraction already getting high reviews from these visitors.
Very good food, very good view, amazing atmosphere. They've done a wonderful job.
Very good company.
Yes, very good company.
It's just good to see it back open again.
Grand Bahamian Wanda Strawn says it's good to have a place for locals to let their hair down and unwind.
This is my first time here, and I think the atmosphere seems to be one that is nice. It's cool. I like the fact that they're practicing still safety protocols. I think if they continue this and the food is good, I think it would be a great place for locals as well as visitors.
The restaurant is a culmination of a dream Curry had from high school. Years later, he's the owner of 2 restaurants on New Providence and 2 on Grand Bahama.
We stand here tonight as a company to try to bring hope back to the community of Grand Bahama. We're trying to restore and jumpstart our tourist industry along with our local industry. So here, this is a vision that was seen some 13 years ago.
Curry's longtime friend, PLP leader Philip Davis, said during the event that a PLP government would make entrepreneurial dreams like Curry's easier to obtain through a domestic investment board.
A board to facilitate investments by Bahamians. We hope to make it a one-stop shop where Bahamian can bring in his investment proposal and in a matter of weeks be able to walk away with all the necessary approvals to begin to start his or her business. This practice of having to go to multiple agencies to be able to operate a conch salad or a conch stand, a coconut stand, will come to an end.
Reporting for R News, I'm Giorgio Bain.
Thanks, Giorgio, and thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Christina Dragovich. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.